Today, we're diving into the single biggest threat facing the AI revolution. And I promise you, it is absolutely not what you think it is.
So what pops into your head? A new algorithm from a rival? Maybe quantum computing finally breaking through? Or some kind of geopolitical fight over microchips? Well, nope. The answer is actually something way more basic, and it's been hiding in plain sight this whole time.
You see, the gear that's grinding this whole 21st century revolution to a halt, it isn't digital at all. It's a heavy, physical piece of hardware that's been around for more than 100 years. And to really get why, we first have to talk about AI's dirty little secret. And that secret? It's that AI has a truly voracious appetite for electricity. I mean, the amount of pure energy it takes just to train and run these massive models is, well, it's kind of mind-boggling. Just look at these numbers. Back in 2023, data centers in the US were already using about 4.4% of all the country's electricity. But now, thanks almost entirely to AI, that number is projected to nearly triple to 12% by 2030. That is an unbelievable surge in demand. Now, to put that 4.4% number into some kind of perspective, the source material we're looking at makes a really surprising comparison. The entire super energy-intensive US marijuana growing industry, that uses about 1% of the nation's power. AI data centers already use more than 4 times that, and they're just getting warmed up. But here's the real twist. Just making the power isn't even the biggest hurdle. No, the real crisis is in the actual nuts and bolts infrastructure that gets the power from point A to point B. There's a critical link missing in our electrical grid. I mean, think about it. You can build all the shiny new solar farms and power plants in the world, but if you can't physically move that electricity to the new data centers that need it, that power is completely useless. It's stranded. And this is the hero of our story, the electrical transformer. It sounds simple, right? But it's the absolute workhorse of the grid. It jacks up the voltage so power can travel long distances efficiently, and then it steps it back down so it's safe to use in our homes, our businesses, and, you guessed it, in our data centers. Without these things, the grid just flat out doesn't work. And that brings us right to the heart of the problem. This vital 100-year-old piece of tech is facing a supply chain meltdown of epic proportions, and it's happening at the exact moment we need it the most. So let's say you want to build a new data center, and you order a new large power transformer today. Well, the average wait time is 144 weeks. Let that sink in. That is nearly 3 years. You can't build the future of AI on a 3-year waiting list. And it's not just about things being slow. We're talking about a fundamental shortage. Projections are showing that by next year, the US is going to be facing a 30% supply deficit for these critical transformers. There literally are not enough of them being made to meet the demand. So you're probably thinking, why don't we just make more? Well, that's where the problem gets really sticky. The US basically stopped making them. A staggering 80% of the large power transformers we install in this country are imported. And this reveals the huge geopolitical angle to all of this. When you look at the entire global manufacturing capacity, one country, China, controls an estimated 60% of it. This puts a piece of hardware that's absolutely essential for our national security, for our economy, and for the entire AI revolution in a very, very vulnerable spot. But listen, this problem isn't just about steel and copper coils. The shortage of the physical hardware is being mirrored by an equally critical shortage of human skill. Yeah, there's a massive disconnect happening in our talent pipeline. You know, universities are pumping out graduates who are brilliant at AI and data science. But the industries that actually build the physical world for all that digital magic, they are desperate for people like power engineers and electromechanical techs. And the scale of this gap is just immense. To manage the energy transition and grid upgrades that AI is demanding, the world is going to need something like 1.5 million new power engineers by 2030. And right now, the number of people in that pipeline doesn't even come close. Now, the source material also raises a more controversial point about this workforce issue, exploring a potential link between some broader societal trends and these very specific labor shortages. Okay, so just reporting on the source's line of reasoning here, it poses a pretty provocative question. It asks if there might be this multi-step indirect link. So could economic pressure lead to an increase in substance use? And because some studies link prenatal marijuana exposure to impacts on cognitive functions, could that in turn actually shrink the future talent pool for the highly skilled
precision jobs, like, say, winding transformer coils. Again, this is the hypothesis that's put forward in the analysis. So, okay, we're facing a hardware crisis and a human capital crisis. Where do we even go from here? Well, the analysis suggests the solution lies in a very conscious effort to rebuild the very foundations of our industrial capacity. This quote really gets to the heart of the whole issue. The AI revolution is built on a physical foundation, and that foundation is cracking. It's like we've been so obsessed with the code and the algorithms that we completely forgot about the world of steel, copper, and the skilled people needed to shape it. And now that neglect is coming back to bite us.
So, the path forward, according to the source, really starts with education. And it's not about abandoning AI, it's about integrating it. First, you fuse old school power engineering with new school data science, so the people building the grid actually understand the digital demands being placed on it. Second, you build really deep partnerships between universities and the companies that actually need the talent, creating a direct pipeline. And finally, and this is so critical, we have to shift our focus back to hands-on, practical skills that can actually build and maintain our physical world.
And that leaves us with this one final, crucial question. The AI revolution promises us this incredible future of digital abundance. But this analysis really forces us to stop and ask, can that shiny digital world actually be built and, more importantly, sustained on a crumbling physical foundation? That's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining us.